The job market right now isn't just competitive, it's distorted. You're applying to jobs that don't exist, you're competing against hundreds of applicants using AI, and getting rejected from roles asking for experience you can't realistically even have. So, what do people do? They apply to more jobs, they rewrite their resume, they wait, and hear nothing back. Then they assume that they are the problem. But they're not. The system they're using is. And it's mismatched for today's needs. So, if you keep using it, you'll keep getting the same result. The real question is, what actually works now? Here's what's changed, and most people haven't caught up yet. It used to be simple. You apply, you get seen, you get considered. Now, you apply, you get filtered, and you get ignored before a human even looks at your profile. And that's just step one. Step two, companies are overwhelmed, not just with more candidates, but with candidates who all look the same. Now, AI has flattened the playing field in the worst possible way. Everyone sounds qualified, everyone uses the same language, and everyone looks polished. So now the problem isn't becoming good, it's becoming distinguishable and standing out from everyone else. And if you're not distinguishable, you're invisible. That's why people feel stuck. They're doing what should work, but the environment has changed. So instead of doing more of what doesn't work, you need to shift your strategy completely. Before I tell you about the 5 moves that actually work, let me know in the comments, what part of the job search are you struggling with? Now, for each of these 5 moves that actually work, I'll rate each one of them out of 5 for speed, which means time to the first meaningful signal, leverage, how much each action increases your odds across multiple opportunities, and difficulty, the effort it takes to get it done, so that you know where to focus. The first move is targeted applications. Now, applying still works, well, just barely, but if you stop treating it like a numbers game. Most people sit down, open up LinkedIn, filter jobs, and apply to 20 or 30 roles in one go. Now, it feels productive, but it's the equivalent of sending the same message to 100 people and hoping that one replies. Think about how that looks from the other side. A hiring manager opens your resume and sees something generic and something that could have been sent anywhere. There's no signal, no indication that you actually understand the role. Instead, flip the approach completely. Don't start with the job, start with the problem. What is the company actually trying to solve right now? Are they trying to grow faster, to reduce churn, to improve operations? Then position yourself directly around that. Use their language. Reference something specific about their business. Show them you've actually thought about their situation. Even something as simple as one line that proves you understand their context can separate you from 90% of the applicants. Because now, you don't look like someone applying, you look like someone who's thinking. Now I rate this as speed 3 out of 5. This can get you a quick email, even though that might be a rejection email, but you don't often hear anything, so it's somewhere in the middle. Now leverage, this is a 1 out of 5. This is the lowest leverage option as it's really throwaway work, with one application only working for one opportunity. The difficulty is around a 2 out of 5, because if you know yourself and your value, this is actually much easier, but if you don't, it does take a bit of time. This works, but it's limited because you're playing inside a system that's already overloaded, and that's the real issue. Even when you do this properly, you're still competing in a crowded space. So the next move is about getting out of that space entirely. Move 2 is networking. Networking is where the game changes, but not in the way most people think. Most people hear networking and think awkward conversations, forced messages, or asking strangers for jobs. That's not what this is. Networking is about access. When you apply online, you're one of hundreds. When someone refers you, you're one in a small handful. That's the difference. And it's not because you suddenly became better. It's because the context changed. Hiring is not purely merit-based. It's trust-based. If someone inside the company says, you should speak to this person, you skip layers of filtering instantly. Now here's where people get it wrong. They only think about networking when they need something. That's unfortunately too late. The people who benefit from networking are the ones who are already in conversations. They're already visible and they're already known. Now, this doesn't mean you need a massive network. It means you need to use the one you already have, but better. There's the people that you worked with, people that you studied with, and most importantly, people connected to those people. Opportunities move through these channels all the time, but most people ignore them because they're too focused on job boards. I'm going to rate this one at speed about 4 out of 5. Because remember, we're focusing on people who already know us. So a lot of the groundwork is already done. And the leverage is a 5 out of 5. That one person may have access to multiple opportunities. And if you built a strong enough relationship, that one person becomes an advocate for you and becomes kind of like an AI agent scouring their network for opportunities on your behalf. The difficulty here is anywhere from a 1 to a 3 to a 4, because for some people, reconnecting with their network will be easy, but for many others, it'll be a huge growth opportunity. But that's well worth the investment. And this is where most people see their first real shift in results. But even if you get access, there's still one problem left. Everyone looks good on paper right now. So move 3 is proof of work. This is where most candidates fall apart. They rely entirely on their resume. The issue is, a resume is just a claim. It says what you've done, what you can do, and what you think you're capable of. But in today's market, claims don't mean much. We're moving away from the previous proxy-based market where schools, degrees, certificates, and titles used to indicate what could do the work. And now we're moving towards the skills-based market, where they're looking for evidence that you can actually do the work, especially when AI can generate a perfect resume in seconds. So from a hiring perspective, everything starts to look the same. That's why proof of work matters even more than ever. If you can say that you can do something, then show it. If you're in marketing, show how you'd manage and approach a certain campaign. If you're in design, show real work, not just polished outcomes, but thinking. If you're in business, show how you break down problems. And even if you don't have experience, create it. Document your process, share your thinking, build small projects. Because what this does is change how you're evaluated. You're no longer being judged on what you say, but on what you demonstrate. And that's much harder to fake. This is where you separate yourself from the majority of applicants who are all saying the same things. I'm going to rate this one at a 2.5 out of 5 because while building a project and demonstrating your work might take some time, with AI, the time it takes should decrease significantly. The leverage is a 5 out of 5. Once you create a portfolio piece, then you can share it with anyone and everyone. Plus, sometimes to personalize it, it only takes a few changes to a few words and maybe a few colors. The difficulty is a 4 out of 5. It takes effort, but this one is the strongest advantage that you can build. And once you start focusing on what you can actually do, the next question becomes, how do you stay valuable as these things change? And that goes to move 4, skill stacking. Most people approach things in a linear way. They learn one thing, then another, but that's not how value is created anymore. Value comes from combinations. And the biggest shift right now is AI. People either ignore it or fear it, which puts them at a disadvantage. AI isn't replacing people, it's replacing average output. So if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're easier to replace. But if you understand how to use AI to improve your own work, you increase your value. For example, someone who understands marketing and knows how to use AI tools to analyze data, generate ideas, and test faster will outperform someone who just understands marketing. Same role, different level of output. That's what companies care about. So instead of asking, what skills should I learn? Ask what combination of skills makes me more effective than the average person in my field. That's where your edge comes from. This one gets a speed 3 out of 5 because you'll be surprised how helpful 30 minutes a day having AI teach you something can really be. Think of that as compound interest for you. Leverage is a 4 out of 5. If you pick the right set of skills, then those skills can be applied to many different parts of your job and career. The difficulty is 3.5 out of 5. This requires a shift in yourself. You need to be a lifelong learner and aim to improve a little bit every day. This is what helps keep you relevant as the market evolves. And be sure not to stop when you land a job. But even with the right skills, most people still struggle because they don't have direction. And the fifth move is to get a coach. This is where most time gets wasted. Not because people aren't trying, but because they're guessing. They try one approach, then another, then they switch again, and nothing compounds because there's no consistency. What actually accelerates progress is having a coach. Someone who's been there and done that, and can tell you what to actually focus on and what to ignore, and how to measure if something is working. When you remove that uncertainty, everything speeds up. You make decisions faster, you avoid unnecessary work, and you start building momentum. That's the difference between being busy and actually progressing. For the last one, the speed is a 4 out of 5, since a good coach will help you focus on the right things and point out your blind spots. The leverage is a 5 out of 5. When you focus on the right things, you naturally have better results. The difficulty is somewhere between a 1 and a 5 out of 5. For some people, they don't have the means to invest in themselves, while for others, this is a no-brainer, and all you need to do is find a great coach, like me, to help you reap the rewards. If you want structure, guidance, and a system to actually move you forward, there's a link below to try the Focus Inspired Academy. Get a month for free with your first 2 months at 50% off. And finally, as a bonus, build something on the side, not just for money, but for leverage. When you rely entirely on a job, you're dependent on the market. When you build something for yourself, you create options. You learn faster, you take ownership, and you develop skills that most employees don't. And over time, that compounds. Most people won't stick with it, which is exactly why it works for the few who do. The bonus gets a speed, kind of a 1.5 out of 5, because building something takes time, unless you're dedicating your job search time here instead. Leverage is a 5 out of 5, because this will give you full control of your career. And the difficulty is a 4.5 out of 5, because everyone makes entrepreneurship sound easy, but it can be more challenging than you think. The job market hasn't just gotten harder, it's changed. And if you keep using old strategies, you'll keep getting the same results. The people winning right now aren't better, they're just playing a different game. So the question is, are you going to keep doing what everyone else is doing, or actually adapt? Watch this next video on how to network on LinkedIn without cold messaging. Otherwise, YouTube's got another video for you right here. And until next time, be focused and stay inspired.